The Glassmaker by Tracy Chevalier, and I listened to this as an audiobook, and it was beautifully narrated by Juliet Aubrey, and it is published by Borough Press. And this is a novel that spans centuries across Venice. So it starts out in the later 1400s and comes to conclusion around the period of COVID. And there is so much change and so much research, and Venice during the centuries is just beautifully and evocatively portrayed, and if you love the city, then this has to be a must-read book to, give you a real sense of the city as it has evolved across the years. The author has got a really interesting idea for this book, and she uses the technique of skimming stones, and so she throws them into the water, and that then moves the story along. So the stone randomly alights upon a new period. So it starts out later 1400s, and it is the story of Orsola Rosso and her family. And they live in Murano, and she, of course, is a woman, and she would love to take up the trade of being a glass blower or glass maker, but she can't because she's a woman and all the guilds, bar women. And this is basically her story. So Venice moves along, but the human interest almost stays static. So this adds to the sense that, Venice is somehow a little bit otherworldly. Time moves at its own pace in the city. And so this gives the author an opportunity to really kind of move through the years with Venice as, the Austrians come. The Austrians, settled in the city and took it over, and they filled up some of the canals because they didn't actually like canals, so what were they doing in a city with canals? There's also Napoleon, and so as Orsola is beginning to ply a trade, and she basically learns the skill of making beads, because that is really the only trade that is glass oriented, to which is open to her. And she develops her trade, and she comes in touch with a guy called Klingenberg, who is a German trader who is actually in Venice, not on Murano. And they develop quite a nice relationship, and he sees her through her developmental process and the way she can actually sell her wares. This is also a story of her family and of the way things unfold through the city through plague. And then, of course, they had a plague very early on, and then, of course, they have COVID. And it just, it is redolent with water. It is full of people, full of life. And I just really, really love this book. And I think if you love Venice, and maybe you're thinking of going to Venice, then this is certainly a book to pick up and read. It's a beautifully constructed story, and at the heart there is a wonderful story.